I woke up on my 30th birthday, with butterflies in my stomach. The morning sunlight poured through our apartment windows as I carefully placed the small jewelry box in my jacket pocket. 3 years with Jessica had led to this moment. The silver engagement ring waited patiently just like me. I checked my phone, a message from Jessica saying she would be running a little late. A flicker of worry crossed my mind, but I pushed it away. Today would be perfect. Have you ever planned something special, only to have everything turn upside down? Like and subscribe to follow my journey through what happened next. The story of Jessica and me began 3 years ago, in a small coffee shop in downtown Seattle. Rain pounded against the windows that afternoon, and the shop was packed with people seeking shelter. I noticed her immediately, dark hair falling over her shoulders as she balanced a laptop and a stack of marketing presentations. When the last table became available, we ended up sharing it. "I promise I do not talk while I work," she said with a smile that lit up her hazel eyes. That promise was broken within 10 minutes. We talked until the barista politely informed us they were closing. I asked for her number, and to my surprise, she gave it to me without hesitation. Our first date was the following weekend, at a small Italian restaurant with string lights hanging from the ceiling and red checkered tablecloths. Jessica worked in marketing for a tech company, while I developed software for a startup focused on renewable energy solutions. We complemented each other perfectly. Her creativity balanced my analytical nature. Our relationship progressed naturally. We took weekend trips to Portland, spent summers exploring the California coastline, and created traditions like Sunday morning hikes, followed by brunch. After 12 months, we decided to move in together. Our apartment in Capitol Hill became our sanctuary, filled with books, plants, and memories. We talked about buying a house in the suburbs, eventually getting a dog, maybe even starting a family. The future stretched before us, full of promise and possibility. For my 30th birthday, I wanted everything to be perfect. I woke up before sunrise, decorating our apartment with fairy lights and her favorite flowers, white lilies that filled the space with their subtle fragrance. I hung photographs from our travels along the hallway wall, creating a timeline of our relationship. I reserved a table at Bella Vita, the Italian restaurant where we had our first date. The ring had been my secret for 2 months. I spent weeks researching diamonds, learning about cuts and clarity, until the jeweler probably dreaded seeing me walk through the door again. The final selection, a princess-cut diamond on a white gold band, cost me 2 months of salary, but seeing it nestled in its velvet box made every penny worthwhile. I arranged with our friends to gather at our favorite bar after dinner, ready to celebrate our engagement with champagne and laughter. Marcus, my best friend since college, helped organize everything, sworn to secrecy with the seriousness of a state secret. "She is going to say yes, man," he assured me over the phone that morning. "You guys are perfect together." His confidence bolstered my own, though my stomach twisted with nervous anticipation. I rehearsed my proposal in the shower, in front of the mirror, and while setting the table for breakfast. The words needed to be right, meaningful, without being cliché romantic, without being overwrought. Looking back, the warning signs had been there for weeks. I just refused to see them. Jessica had been glued to her phone, smiling at messages she quickly hid when I entered the room. She started working late more frequently, coming home with her hair smelling faintly of unfamiliar cologne. Her phone gained a new password that I never asked about because I trusted her completely. She mentioned a former friend who had reconnected with her, Jake. The name came up casually at first, then more frequently. An old college classmate who had moved back to Seattle after years in Miami. Just catching up for coffee, networking for her career, nothing more. I never questioned it, never showed jealousy. We had something special, something real, or so I believed. On my birthday, Jessica arrived at our apartment 45 minutes later than promised. She wore a black dress I had never seen before, her makeup more dramatic than usual. Her smile seemed forced, her eyes darting to her phone every few minutes. "Happy birthday, babe," she said, handing me a small package wrapped in blue paper. Inside was a leather wallet, nice but impersonal. I thanked her with a kiss and gave her my gift. Not the ring yet, but an expensive watch I had noticed her admiring months ago. The main event would come after dinner with dessert and champagne. "This is beautiful," she whispered, slipping it onto her wrist. Her phone vibrated against the table. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. Jessica glanced at the screen, and her expression changed instantly. She paled, fingers trembling slightly as she read whatever message had appeared. "Everything okay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. "It is Jake," she said, already standing. "He has been in an accident. Nothing critical, but he needs someone to come get him from the hospital. On my birthday, cannot someone else go?" Her eyes would not meet mine. "There is no one else. His family is all in Florida." She was already gathering her purse keys. "I will try to be quick. We can still make our reservation if you want to wait." Before I could respond, her phone rang. She answered immediately, turning away from me to speak in hushed tones. "Yes, I am coming right now. No, it is fine. Just stay there." When she turned back, her decision was already made. "I am sorry, Alistair. I have to go. This is an emergency." She rushed toward the door, the watch I had given her still on her wrist. My gift to her would now accompany her to her ex-boyfriend. 15 minutes after she left, my phone chimed with a message. "X needs me, emergency. Do not wait up. Not Jake needs me. Not my friend needs me. But X needs me." The truth slipped out so casually, as if she no longer cared to maintain the pretense. I replied with a single word, "Understood." I sat alone in my decorated apartment, surrounded by the evidence of my meticulous planning. The reservation time at Bella Vita came and went. The candles burned down to stubs. The champagne remained corked in the refrigerator. My birthday cake sat untouched on the counter, 30 unlit candles, waiting for a celebration that would never happen. I called Jessica repeatedly. Each attempt went straight to voicemail after 4 rings. My messages remained unread, then eventually showed, delivered but ignored. "Where are you? Is everything okay? How is Jake? What happened, Jessica? Please just let me know you are all right." The bottle of whiskey in our liquor cabinet became my companion as midnight approached. I kept the ring box on the coffee table, occasionally opening it to watch the diamond catch the light. Each time the pain in my chest intensified until I finally tucked it away in my pocket, unable to look at it anymore. For the first time since my father passed away 5 years earlier, I cried without restraint. Harsh, bitter tears that burned my eyes and left my throat raw. Morning arrived with painful brightness and complete silence from Jessica. No calls, no messages, no explanation. I showered, dressed, and tried to function despite the hangover pounding behind my eyes. The apartment felt wrong. Too quiet, too empty, despite all her possessions still in place. I called Sydney, Jessica's closest friend, around noon. "Hey, Alistair. Happy birthday." Her forced cheerfulness told me everything I needed to know before I even asked. "Sydney, Jessica left yesterday to help Jake after some kind of accident. Do you know anything about it?" The pause lasted several seconds too long. "Accident? Oh, right. I heard something about that. Is she not back yet?" "No. She has not called or texted since last night. That is strange. Let me try to reach her and call you back." Sydney never called back. Suspicion fully awakened. I searched Jake's name on social media. It took only minutes to find him. Jake Morrison, 32, marketing director at a luxury hotel chain. His Instagram profile was public, and his most recent post stopped my heart. A check-in at Canlis, one of the most expensive restaurants in Seattle, just 9 hours ago. The caption read, "Special night with a special someone. Number special night number new beginnings. No accidents, no hospitals, no emergencies." A new message from Jessica appeared on my phone. "Sorry, might stay longer. Things complicated." 5 words that told me nothing and everything simultaneously. My stomach churned with betrayal and anger. The whispered suspicions in my mind crescendoed into screaming certainty. Without allowing myself to reconsider, I grabbed my keys and wallet. The Uber arrived within minutes, taking me across the city through a typical Seattle downpour. Rain streamed down the windows, mirroring the tears I refused to shed again. Canlis perched on the hillside overlooking Lake Union, its windows glowing warmly against the gray afternoon. I paid the driver and stepped into the rain without an umbrella, not caring as water soaked through my jacket. From the parking lot, I could see through the restaurant windows. I told myself I just needed confirmation, just needed to know for certain before confronting her. What I saw instead would haunt me for months afterward. Jessica sat at a corner table across from a man I recognized from his profile pictures. Jake. Tall, with the polished good looks of someone accustomed to getting what he wanted. They were laughing, her hand resting on his arm intimately. The watch I had given her glinted on her wrist as she removed it with ceremonial care. She handed it to Jake, who examined it with obvious appreciation before slipping it onto his own wrist. My birthday gift to Jessica was now adorning her ex-boyfriend's arm. They clinked champagne glasses, their expressions conveying more than words ever could. Jessica looked radiant, happier than I had seen her in months. Whatever they were celebrating, it clearly brought her more joy than my birthday ever could. I stood motionless in the rain water, dripping from my hair into my eyes, mixing with tears I could no longer control. A waiter passing by the window noticed me staring and frowned. Before he could alert security about the soaking wet man lurking outside, I turned and walked away. The apartment felt like a museum of lies when I returned. Every photograph, every shared possession, suddenly suspect. I moved through the rooms with growing anger, searching for additional evidence of her betrayal. Inside her desk drawer, hidden beneath stationery, I found airline tickets to Miami dated 2 months ago, a weekend she had claimed to be at a marketing conference in Portland. Next to them, hotel receipts with both their names. Her iPad, forgotten in her haste and still logged into her accounts, revealed months of messages between them, plans made, secrets shared, intimacies exchanged. Their reunion had not been recent or sudden. It had been ongoing for at least 6 months, right under my nose. Miss having you in Miami. Visit soon, counting the days until we can stop sneaking around. He suspects nothing. Still planning the surprise for his birthday. The surprise had been for me, indeed, just not the kind anyone would want. My sadness crystallized into rage. I swept photographs from shelves, shattered the frame that held our first vacation picture. I poured another whiskey with shaking hands, then another, until blessed numbness began to dull the edges of my pain. Sleep never came that night. I sat on our balcony until dawn, watching the city lights and reconstructing our relationship with this new knowledge. How many times had she lied? How many moments that I treasured had been mere performance on her part? The first rays of morning sunlight slanted through the blinds, falling across my face as I stared at my reflection in the bathroom. Mirror, bloodshot eyes, stubbled cheeks, the hollow expression of someone whose world had imploded. My father's voice echoed in my memory. Your self-respect matters more than any relationship, son. Without it, you have nothing. Dad had rebuilt his life after my mother left us for her tennis instructor when I was 12. He never spoke ill of her in front of me, never let bitterness consume him. Instead, he showed me through example how to maintain dignity, even when your heart is shattered. A strange calm settled over me. Jessica had made her choice. Now it was time to make mine. I would not be the pathetic boyfriend waiting for crumbs of attention. I would not beg for explanations or second chances. I would reclaim my power, my dignity, and my self-respect in one decisive action. I showered, shaved, and dressed in fresh clothes. After a strong cup of coffee, I drove to the nearest department store and purchased 3 large suitcases and several moving boxes. The cashier raised an eyebrow at the quantity but said nothing. Back at the apartment, I began the methodical process of packing every trace of Jessica. I started in the closet, carefully folding her designer dresses, the cashmere sweaters I had given her for Christmas, the vintage concert T-shirts she treasured. Each item carried memories. Our trip to New York, lazy Sundays at home, celebrations, and ordinary moments alike. Her jewelry came next, each piece nestled safely in tissue paper. The sapphire earrings from our first anniversary, the pearl necklace from her parents, the bracelet she bought herself after a big promotion. Books filled an entire box, dog-eared paperbacks, pristine hardcovers, professional marketing guides with her notes in the margins. Her extensive vinyl collection required special care, each record returned to its sleeve and packed vertically to prevent warping. In her nightstand drawer, I discovered a leather-bound journal. Despite everything, I could not violate that final privacy. It went into the box, unopened her thoughts, remaining her own. Throughout this process, I maintained an almost surgical detachment. These were just objects now, not sacred relics of our relationship. With each item I packed away, I felt lighter, more certain of my course. Under our bed, hidden behind winter boots, I discovered a shoebox that made my clinical detachment falter momentarily. Inside lay evidence of her double life, handwritten love letters from Jake, dating back 6 months, each one more intimate than the last. Photographs showed them together on a beach. I did not recognize her wearing a sundress I had never seen. A matching set of woven bracelets carried both their initials. Most devastating was a draft email to her company's HR department, requesting transfer to their Miami office dated 3 weeks earlier. She had been planning her exit from my life well before my birthday, orchestrating her departure with calculated precision. At the very bottom of the box lay a small jewelry case. Inside was a diamond ring, not the one I had purchased, but another. The receipt tucked beside it showed Jessica as the purchaser. She had bought an engagement ring for Jake, using our joint credit card. Pain lanced through me one final time, then dissolved into something unexpected: relief. Whatever doubt might have lingered about my decision evaporated. I had loved a woman who did not exist. I continued packing, handling everything with the same care she would have used herself. 7 boxes and 3 suitcases eventually stood in our living room, containing the physical remnants of Jessica's presence in my life. At my desk, I wrote and discarded several versions of a note. The first drafts were angry, bitter accusations that would give her the satisfaction of knowing how deeply she had hurt me. Others were coldly clinical, itemizing her betrayals like a balance sheet. None felt right. Finally, I wrote the words that came from a place of dignity rather than revenge. Jessica, I hope you find what you are looking for. I have found what I needed: my self-respect. I wish you both well. Alistair, I added the engagement ring I had purchased with a second note. Sell it. It was meant for someone who did not exist. After researching Jake's address through social media and property records, I contacted a same-day courier service. The representative arrived within the hour, eyebrows raising slightly at the volume of packages. Moving, he asked. No, I replied. Just returning things to their rightful owner. I paid extra for priority delivery, specifying delivery within 2 hours. Watching the truck pull away with Jessica's possessions felt like releasing a weight I had carried for too long. The apartment seemed cavernous once the courier departed. I walked through the rooms, noting the spaces where her things had been, the empty bookshelves, the bare side of the closet, the vacant spots on our bathroom counter. My phone exploded with notifications within an hour of the delivery. Jessica called 17 times in succession. When I did not answer, text messages flooded in. What the hell? Alistair, you had no right. Answer your phone, right now. This is insane. This is my stuff. The messages shifted from rage to negotiation. Please just talk to me. We can work this out. I made a mistake. I was confused. 3 years means nothing to you. Just like that. Finally came the messages I had expected from the beginning. I am so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Jake and I have history. I got caught up in the past. Please forgive me. I want to come home. Jake called next, his voicemail alternating between threats and grudging. Respect. You have some nerve, sending her stuff here, man. We are going to have a problem if you do not back off. Followed an hour later by, look, this situation is complicated. For what it is worth, I did not know how serious you two were. Jessica made it sound like you were practically broken up. To all of these, I sent a single response. Understood. Take care. Then I blocked both their numbers and turned off my phone. I contacted a real estate agent that afternoon and arranged to view apartments across town the following day. A moving company confirmed they could pack and relocate my possessions within 48 hours. My life was changing at warp speed, but for the first time in months, I felt fully in control. That evening, I met Marcus at our regular bar. His reaction when I told him everything cycled through shock, outrage, and finally reluctant admiration. That is the most gangster breakup move I have ever heard, he said, ordering another round. Cold but completely justified. Our other friends joined us the planned engagement celebration, transforming into a breakup support gathering. They offered couches to sleep on, help with moving introductions to new social circles, the kind of genuine support that makes you realize who truly matters in your life. Later that night, I called my mother in Philadelphia. She listened without interruption as I explained what had happened. "Come home for a while," she suggested. "Your old room is always waiting." "Thanks, Mom, but I need to stay here." Running away would feel like she won somehow. "You sound like your father," she said softly. "He always faced things head-on, too." Coming from her, this was the highest compliment possible. 6 months passed with remarkable swiftness. My new apartment near Volunteer Park became a sanctuary, open concept filled with light and completely free of painful memories. I adopted a golden retriever from the shelter and named him Chance, a reminder that life always offers new opportunities. At work, I channeled my emotional energy into a project I had been putting off. The resulting software innovation earned me a promotion and the option to lead a new development team. Weekends that had once been filled with couples activities found new purpose. I joined a hiking club, tackling increasingly challenging trails around the Pacific Northwest. I ran my first half marathon raising money for a youth literacy program. Physical exertion helped quiet the mental noise and rebuild my confidence. A book club introduced me to new friends with no connection to my previous social circle. These relationships developed organically, without the pressure of romantic expectations. I rediscovered parts of myself that had been subsumed in my relationship with Jessica, my love of science fiction, my terrible but enthusiastic attempts at cooking my interest in local history. Jessica tried reaching out several times through mutual friends. Sydney reported that she and Jake had broken up after just 3 months. Apparently, the excitement of forbidden romance quickly faded when actually living together. "She really regrets what happened," Sydney ventured during a chance meeting at a grocery store. "She misses you." "I wish her well," I replied, and meant it. The anger had faded, leaving only a calm certainty that everything had worked out exactly as it should. I remained single, not out of fear or bitterness, but from a genuine appreciation for this period of rediscovery. Dating would happen eventually, but rebuilding my relationship with myself took precedence. On a warm October evening, I sat on the beach at Alki watching the sunset paint the Seattle skyline in brilliant orange and pink. Chance chased seagulls along the shore, his joyful barking blending with the sounds of waves. Looking back on the past year, I recognized how necessary that painful birthday had been. Had Jessica not revealed her true nature so dramatically, we might have continued for years, perhaps even married. Before the inevitable collapse, her betrayal, painful as it was, had actually been a gift. I had learned to establish and maintain boundaries. I had discovered the difference between loving someone and needing them. Most importantly, I had realized that self-respect is not negotiable. It forms the foundation upon which all healthy relationships must be built. My phone vibrated with a text message from an unknown number. "Hi, Alistair. It is Jessica. I know it has been a while, but I would really like to meet and apologize properly. Coffee sometime. I miss our talks." I considered the message thoughtfully before responding. "Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate the thought, but I am in a different place now. I wish you all the best moving forward. No anger, no resentment, just the quiet certainty of a closed chapter." As the last light faded from the horizon, I felt profound gratitude for the journey. Sometimes losing someone is the only way to truly find yourself. I am no longer searching for perfect love. I have learned that true love begins with loving yourself first. Have you ever had a moment when pain transformed into strength? Share your story in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to hear it today. Remember, your self-respect is non-negotiable. Thank you for being part of this journey with me, and I wish you the courage to choose yourself when it matters most.